Marcus Rashford, Chris Sutton was pretty straight with us, saying, look, it's the player's fault, and he crossed the line now three times. Where do you sit, Merse? Do you have any sympathy for Marcus Rashford?
I back a lot of players because you don't know what's going on in their minds. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But you can't miss training. You can't. I remember I was 17 years of age. I went out with my cousin's boyfriend, and I got up in the morning. I didn't go work, and my dad told me off so badly you wouldn't catch your breath. And I was 17, 18. He said, "Do not ever miss training. If you go out." And I never missed another day's training in my life. And I was getting at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd still get to work out of respect. Yeah. Not just for me, out of respect to me, who had lost all respect, but for my teammates and my manager. And I can't back him on that. He's going out, and then you read the story about the girl telling that he put bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, the lad's got the biggest talent in the world. Last year he was unplayable. This year, I'm sure I could do as well as he's doing this season. Football's a short career, and the way the game's changing now, 30, 31, tops. He's got 4 or 5 years. He can go and do party as much as he wants after. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
In terms of how you deal with this situation, I mean, listen, I don't know Eric Ten Hag. I sense he's a little bit more kick up the backside than arm around the shoulder, just by what you hear about him in his disciplinarian kind of mindset. But is this a time to try and connect with Marcus Rashford and go that bit deeper with him?
Well, brutally, it depends how much he feels is worth to the team on the pitch. If he still thinks he can get the Marcus Rashford of last season out of him between now and the end of the season and for the rest of what is a very long-term contract, then he'll stick with him. I'm sure he's been given short shrift with regards to what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable. Not that a player of 26 should need that. Football, historically, of course, it's not filled with angels and people that never step out of line. But even 25 years ago, going out on the clatter for 2 nights on the bounce 3 or 4 days before a game is ridiculous. Marcus will know that. He's always struck me as a very, very intelligent and self-aware fella. I was going to say young man then. He's relatively young, but 26. Getting into that meat of your career when you could become an England great is very important. As Merse says, you've got to sometimes take into account what goes on off the pitch. We never know what the full story is, but fundamentally, professional football's, this is the professional side of it. This is where the remuneration comes from. This is where the chances to play for a colossus of a football club come from. And you don't get to where he's got without knowing that, without having drive and ambition, as he got too many people around him. These footballers aren't looked after agents anymore. They are businesses within their own right. Is he getting pushed in the right direction? Everything that you read, he's got a very strong mother figure who's driven him forward, who's got him partly to where he's got so far in his career. The rest of it, what fills the gaps in is Marcus Rashford. And the bit about Eric Ten Hag being a disciplinarian, so what? He gets battered after every game, after every training session, after every performance. I'd be in there throwing things around, wouldn't you?
Do you worry that might stray towards Jadon Sancho territory in terms of Marcus Rashford's future at Old Trafford, Merse?
No, not yet. Not yet. I think he's made a mistake. I know he's made a few, but he can play. He can play. The Sancho one didn't really get going, didn't really turn it on. This lad can play. He can play, and he's proven he's played. We see him last season. He was unplayable. You've got to be careful. You do with the Jordan Sancho one, they'd seen enough of him and thought, he ain't going to take us too many places. He's turning up late. I think this lad just got to get his head down. I hope he gets it right. As I said, short career, soon goes, and you don't want him sitting there. I think it's important because Gareth's a discipline. I worked with Gareth. He was my captain at Villa. He don't like all that. He doesn't like all that, not turning up and doing this and that.
Well, yeah. What does this mean for England?
You got England, who I think will win the Euros this year. So you want to be there. You want to be there. You can make history. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think his place in that squad is in doubt?
Well, if he carries on like he is, then yeah. I'll tell you what, and this isn't two old ex-pros of a certain generation talking, but within that England squad, within Manchester United, within Manchester City, Liverpool, everyone talks about Jurgen Klopp going and whether the players are going to kind of dial down their ambitions. You pack teams like that to the rafters with men that are very kind of responsible, that get on with it. So if you're in the England squad, and obviously this is a bit of a leap of faith, me picturing being in the England squad, but I think the players in that would like to think that whoever gets picked to go and represent England at the Euros with a chance, as Merse is saying, of winning, sorry, you can't have a single passenger. You will be tested by the best teams in Europe. So, sorry, if we're not on board with this, because this might be my only crack at winning a Euros, or you know what I mean, generationally, we've got to a final, we haven't won anything for God knows how long. So, if you've got people that aren't on the same page, that aren't mentally, physically, emotionally ready to go, then I'm sure a lot of players will be saying, I'm not bothered if he's there.
The thing with Gareth, he knows the players. You know, he knows the players. He ain't one of them, they just turn up, he chats to them. You know, I read a thing, see the Carl Walker thing the other day. Gareth rung him. Do you know what I mean? He rung him. He knows. Gareth knows the players. If he thinks that Marcus Rashford can win in the Euros or give him even a chance of winning it, he will be in that squad. If he doesn't, like Ten Hag didn't think Jordan Sancho could take them anywhere, Man United, they'll be out. They won't be in the squad. So, but you know, I hope he gets it right. You know, he learns. He is young, 26. You are. If I knew now what I know now, that if I'd have known that when I was younger, it'd have been a different story.